Dude, I'd love to hop into the NFL draft, which off the top, I think it's okay to admit, looking at the draft eligible players that we have this year, this is not going to be a record-breaking year for Georgia as far as first rounders go. Not that any of these guys aren't that talented, because I think a lot of them are, and it always depends on the team's position and positions of need. But this is feeling like more of like a round 2, round 3 heavy day for UGA.
CJ Allen, Zachariah Branch, Christian Miller, and Oscar Delp, all to me are first round talents. I know I have a Georgia bias, but I mean, at least back half of that round. I just really think those guys are that good. But I think out of all the ones that are really in that question, the only one that probably will get picked that high based on how the NFL does things, the political nature of it, and just how the scouts look at things, the trend of the conversation right now, I think Monroe Freeling is probably the only guy that gets picked. But if it were me, I'd probably say impact-wise to my team, any one of those dudes could be it. And honestly, Oscar Delp had one of the more iconic pro days that we've seen, where he had a certain stock going in and then just killed it coming out of it.
So a good thing to remember when it comes to the NFL draft is none of this is personal, right? They're going to take... Right. It's a beauty pageant, for lack of a better term, right? You have the season, you have a body of work, they're looking for starts, they're looking for that career development in film. Then you have an opportunity to either go to be invited to the combine and to do that and to put up your numbers, or to have a pro day where scouts from all over the NFL are coming to the University of Georgia to see players. Now, Zachariah Branch had the recent arrest, which was absolutely ridiculous, and probably whether we like it or not, unless an NFL team knows his character and realizes how crazy it was, he's probably going to take a little bit of a hit. But at the same time, he's going to be projected as a slot receiver and a return guy. That's not usually first round material, regardless of the year, regardless of the university. So realistically, Monroe Freeling is a bona fide first round tackle, given what we have here. CJ Allen's probably only going to be questionable because he had a late year injury. But you could have a team like the Cowboys, where our old linebacker coach is now, right? And they have a need for linebacker on the defense as well. So just want to talk about some of these guys. I won't bore you with this, but Monroe Freeling, again, projected as a mid-first rounder from South Carolina. He was a former 5-star from the class of 2023. 6'7", had low penalties in his career at Georgia. Keegan, we talked about some of the big plays where he's whiffed on blocks at times. He is not a finished product, but he has all the tools that NFL execs are looking for in a long-term offensive lineman, right? They'll develop him even more. And again, that's something that's very hard to pass out. So expect him to go in the first round. He was second team All-SEC, athletic, and he had a great pre-draft. He really boosted his stock with the numbers that he put up. For an offensive lineman to be that athletic, you're going to turn heads. And then CJ Allen, he's another linebacker coming out of linebacker U at this point. And if you remember when he started, I think he actually replaced Jamon Dumas Johnson when he got hurt, ended up transferring to Kentucky. And really, he never looked back. 3-year starter. He is excellent. He is the best you're going to get at linebacker in pursuit. He's not the fastest, but he diagnoses plays, IDs plays very fast, rarely misses tackles, deciphers plays really well. First team All-American. He was a Butkus finalist this year. Led the team in tackles for 2 years. And again, that injury may push him to a late first round pick to early second, but I like him potentially coming off in the first round, again, because he went to the University of Glenn Schumann. You know what I mean? And I think NFL teams have seen enough proof of concept to know Georgia linebackers get it done. You see Quay, you see Roquan, you see Nakobe Dean, you see even kind of like the less heralded guys who are on NFL rosters scattered across the league. It's a proven product. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't at the very least an early second round. And then some other guys who I think are going to be in that 2-3. Christian Miller, 6'4", 320, 3-time SEC champ, national champ, first team All-SEC. Christian Miller is that great personality. You know what I mean? He enters a room and it lights up. And I think in the interview process, that's going to help him. If he can be serious enough in the football setting, I think that'll help him as well. But that's something he's going to have to work on. But he's a run stuffer. He was a vital part of UGA's run defense this year, which finished top 5 in the country. Projected as a late first, I'm going to say he's probably safe as an early to mid second. He's explosive. He has great hips. When he's in the run stuff, he has great leverage, and he eats blocks. Now, he's not the biggest guy on the defensive line, but again, playing with good hips and leverage, I think that's really good. And a lot of people are saying that Atlanta is in a good position with its pick to where he may be in the area when one of their picks come up. I'm not sure about that. You may have heard about that more than me, but I really like Christian Miller. And then I'd probably be safe to say Zachariah Branch after that. Again, he's too explosive in the screen game. He can be a returner. I don't know if you knew this, but his uncle, Cliff Branch, was a Hall of Famer in pro football. I had no idea.
Yeah,
From
I just
Las
heard
Vegas.
that recently,
yeah, did not know that. Former 5-star, played at USC. I don't know how much this arrest, jaywalking, I can't imagine that hurts you too much, but there is some narrative thing that kind of drives these. But those guys, I think, are going to be kind of like the highlights for Georgia. And then some other names, especially some draft worthy. Dalen Everett is going to make an NFL team really happy. Oscar Delp, more of an all-around tight end, block, receive, whatever you need. Colby Young, Micah Morris.
So
Dylan
Chito,
Bell,
I think all these guys,
and then last but not least, Noah Thomas. Look out for him. A lot of people don't think he's going to get drafted. I think he didn't have the year he wanted at UGA, but I think he can be an NFL wide receiver, and I'm going to stand on that at least for the next week until we find out for sure.
Oh yeah. And then I talked over you. You were saying Dylan Bell too, and I was being rude on accident here, but so. Looking at the list, there's not a name here where I don't think there's not a name on this list where I feel like they can't contribute at an NFL caliber level.
They can. It's just fun to try to project. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, yeah, no, I'm not saying it otherwise. I'm just saying I think this group is that solid where they're going to be NFL dudes no matter what. But the question I have for you, out of these guys that are headed to the league, which would you give the designation of lock as far as potential future star lock? Who has that level of designation? If you were just to be so bold, or I'm asking you to be so bold if you don't mind.
With a little bit of development, I feel like Monroe Freeland can play in the NFL for 10 plus years. He's already shown himself to be durable. The offensive line players from Georgia have had good, solid careers. CJ Allen, he's just one of those players, and he may be in a steal. If he goes early second, he's going to end up being a steal, because once he's healthy and he gets in NFL shape and maybe needs to get a little bit faster, the kid can play football. I think he has a chance to, both of these guys have a chance to maybe be all pros at some point. Other than that, I'm going to say, low-key, I think Dalen Everett and Micah Morris have all the tools physically to really make an impact in the NFL. Will they do that? Remains to be seen. I think these guys are going to be steals. I think they're that good. I think they're that capable to start in the NFL and really contribute to a lot of teams who need help.
Yeah, just the way things have gone the last maybe 10 years with how a player does in college and then how it translates to later on. Obviously, someone like Dylan Bell could do really well because he's just shown he can be very versatile. Just anytime you got a versatile player, that speaks volumes to how they could translate. And then you look at just the physical intangibles. I'm not as high on Monroe Freeling, but I kind of get it overall. If he does keep getting better, which I'm not putting on him that he can, he definitely can. Yeah, his frame and just what he's got from a pure prospect lens, it makes sense why he's the guy that they're kind of leaning in for that first rounder. But I'm reversing the question on me, and you kind of touched on it, but I think if I had to give a future lock out of all these guys for just being a potential star, a legit breakout NFL on the cover of Madden, 1-year kind of player, I think it is Dalen Everett because of the amount of big-time clutch plays he made for us. They just weren't on accident. So I'll be the first to be happy if the Falcons get Zach Branch. I'll be the first to be happy if the Falcons get Zach Branch or Cash Jones or any kind of fan favorite, any Georgia player, period. But I think Dalen Everett is the guy that really has the biggest like NFL. Like he was playing at an NFL level sometimes, it just seemed like. So if Todd Gurley could take over games, Dalen Everett could take over games. He's just that game breaker, game wrecker kind of player. So I think he's the guy I look to. I mean, any of them honestly could do it, but that's who I'd put my money on.
Yeah, and you really never know. I was actually going back and looking at our draft prospects and picks from last year. Arian Smith is on the bottom of the list of all of our draft prospects, right? But because of his elite speed, he's found a home, and I believe he's still with the New York Jets. He's a starting wide receiver there now, right? So usually it takes something like that. You have to be like the elite of the elite at something. And in rare cases, you will have that just grinder, super high IQ, just really knows the game. But, you know, you could be considered the worst wide receiver at UGA, but you're the fastest, one of the fastest people in the world, and you're going to have an NFL career. So it's really hard to project. So in that case, maybe Dylan Bell ends up having a Deebo Samuel type of role somewhere. Maybe it's Noah Thomas. I really find it hard for a 6'5" wide receiver to not find a home. So
Noah Thomas, if you're watching this, Chito has been supportive of your usage this whole time, and I have too. But like, honestly, I just want to give you like credit for being there the whole time, just supporting him.
Big time. I've been consistent on it. He just looks like an NFL wide receiver to me. No, you're right. I could prove to be wrong, but I feel like with the hands and the frame. Now it doesn't look like he ran a good 40. He ran a 4.6 40. Maybe that's why he's low. But dude, you can tell when you see a wide receiver can play ball. The dude can play ball.
Coming in, you were right on how we have used him when he has shown out. You've been right on. You've been right on this whole time. I'm not saying it to push back on what you've been saying. I'm just saying you've been consistent, and I think that what you've been saying is true. So true that in the NFL, maybe he'll just get his chance. Just like Dante Dowdell may just not have been getting enough production opportunities. I think that's the case with Noah Thomas as well, and that's just going to be how it is when you come to Georgia at times. But if you want statistics, go to KSU. You know how crazy Noah Thomas would have killed it at KSU. He would have held school records at KSU, right? So it's like, so what do you want? Like, and I'm not saying he wouldn't have got drafted. Maybe he would have improved his draft stock. I don't know. Maybe he should have gone to KSU. But I'm just saying,
a lot of times, some of these guys that have the physical tools, they just need a chip on their shoulder. They just need somebody to tell them, you'll never make it, or you didn't do nothing here and you can't. I feel like if he's got that type of mentality, buddy, you're 6'5", I'll be mossing everybody. Ain't nobody stopping me from grabbing the football 50-50. But we'll see how it goes. I wish them all the best, and I'm excited for this whole class.
Yeah, Georgia guys have done really well, and I think a big part of it is just the mentality you get here. That's the thing that you get developed here that people don't talk enough about. I think when we think of development, I'll be the first to think of like the drills you're doing and just the X's and O's you learn about. But the mental side of it is really what is pushing guys further and further in the league, because it sets them up ready to grow and get better every day, and that's really what it's all about when you get to the pros. So, and
it could be something as simple as, Kirby likes for his wide receivers to block, right? You're not going to see the field if you don't block. Maybe he's just a receiving wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's just like, Coach, I don't want to block. I want to run down the field, throw me the ball. You know what I mean? It could be that. I know it's like funny to say, but like it legit could be that. So he could be a 1,000-yard receiver in the right situation. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. But I think the G-Day game was positive for things to come. I can't wait to look back and see who got drafted, where, and when. That's always fun.